Constitutional Commission, which cuts across the three arms of government, in that it has to work closely with the Parliamentary Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, and the Judicial Service Commission. There is a notion out there that these commissions actually set salaries for their members or for their employees, which is not the case. It is the SRC that recommends to these particular commissions so that salaries can, to some extent, be harmonized, although this is not the case as it is required. We have had issues with the last salaries commission, remuneration commission that is actually outgoing. There are complaints that it was not able to harmonize salaries even within individual arms of government, to the detriment of the workers, such that when you compare what the security forces earn, there are disparities that cannot be explained. We therefore call upon this particular new commission coming in to work on harmonizing salaries so that we are able to have servants of the public earning almost what can be comparable. But allow me, Mr. Speaker, to pick out one important topic, the bottom-up agenda, where we have the junior-most workers for the government known as area managers in the villages who are not remunerated. We have passed numerous motions here. We have even passed laws which are supposed to determine how these persons are to be remunerated. However, when this was taken to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, it was actually withheld on the basis that these people do not have a formal education. I do not know where education is supposed to be the determinant. It is supposed to be a consideration by the commission whether there is an education or no education. We all know that the basic arm of the administrative government of this country are these people known as area managers. These are people who do everything in the grassroots, including they are the police officers, they are the judges, they are the executioners, they are everything. I therefore call upon the new commission coming in to sit down without reservation, look into what should actually be paid to area managers in this country, because they are out there doing an executive and excellent job for which they are not recognized, for which they are not remunerated by anyone, purely because the Salaries and Remuneration Commission has refused, has declined, has actually failed to set up guidelines which will determine how much these people should be remunerated. I speak for area managers. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support the special motion for consideration of nominees for appointment of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Honorable Speaker, this is a creature of the 2010 Constitution in order to solve the so-called ballooning wage bill in the public service. Honorable Speaker, once the committee has done its vetting and deliberations and have proposed approval, we, the members of parliament, need to do nothing else but support their recommendations. Honorable Speaker, allow me, as we usher in the new commission, I believe this is the third commission since the inauguration of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, there are very many challenges in the public service. There are very many issues in the public service. I do hope and pray the new commission will address the challenges. Honorable Speaker, the disparity, both the national government and the county governments, need to be harmonized to ensure that all members, all Kenyans who work in the public service are paid what is due for their labor, for their efforts, for their level of qualifications, and for their level of experience, Honorable Speaker. This should also apply to all other arms of government, be it in the military, be it parliament, be it in the judiciary. So that when somebody wakes up in the morning to go and work, they must be paid what they deserve. Honorable Speaker, the past two commissions have had a very antagonistic approach to dealing with members of parliament. Honorable Speaker, they have demonized members of parliament, made them look as if they're illiterate, people who have never gone to school, people who deserve nothing. Honorable Speaker, as Honorable Juneta has spoken, and as the majority leader has spoken, members of parliament do more than what they are supposed to do. So in that essence, Honorable Speaker, there must be an arrangement that probably one of these days, Honorable Speaker, and I want to urge all of them, to ask any member of this Salaries and Remuneration Commission probably spend a full day or several days with any member of parliament when they're in the constituencies, so they can understand the trouble and the challenges they go through, to enable, so that when they are looking at their matters, they need to look at it in a very organized and organized manner, appreciating the burden of the job at hand and everything they do. And this applies to all other cadres of jobs, Honorable Speaker. So, with those few remarks, I support the approval and wish them well. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Gichemo Gedenji.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity also to contribute to this special motion for approval of the nominees of the commissioners to the Salaries and Remunerations Commission. Honorable Speaker, as I contribute, let me take this early opportunity to wish you, Honorable Speaker, and all the members a blessed 2025, a year that we hope that will be very fruitful as we serve this nation in our capacity as members of parliament, and also wish all the support staff of the parliament as they serve us a wonderful new year. And also wish all our constituents whom we serve at the constituencies that we've not been able to meet a wonderful and a fruitful, blessed 2025. Honorable Speaker, I support, and since the committee has already indicated that all the nominees meet all the requisite qualifications as per the law and the Constitution, I believe they will be able to serve us better than the previous commissions and serve the country better. And Honorable Speaker, one of the areas that I would like the new commission to put emphasis on is on the stipends that are usually paid to the interns. This is an area that the interns have been feeling there's a gap. They've not been properly considered when they are remunerated for their stipends, when they are doing their internship. And it's an area that should be tied with a new bill that has already been brought before this parliament by Honorable Naisula, which we ably supported as the entire parliament. So it's an area that needs a lot of consideration. And also, they should also be able to harmonize all the salaries that are paid by various grades and cadres at the national level and the county governments. So we should not have areas whereby a lot of preference or a lot of any disparity, because if various people are serving at the same level, they should actually be able to receive the same remuneration and also the same kind of allowances that are due. So, and of course, they should also, they should not create situations whereby they are in conflict with members of parliament, because we are there to serve this nation together, and all the regulations that are supposed to be done by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission should be well done, so that Parliament will also be able to support their activities for the service of this nation. So, Honorable Speaker, without belaboring the point and also much ado, I really support, and I hope they will be able to take up their jobs as soon as we are able to approve them, so that they can serve this nation and harmonize everything about salaries and remunerations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support this special motion for a few reasons that I will state very briefly. First of all, it is well balanced in terms of gender, in terms of ethnicity, in terms of region. And that is one of the things we require in constitutional commissions. It is also well balanced in terms of abilities, and I've seen the various nominees from the various bodies. They are promising. Mr. Speaker, I support this special motion and urge that as the commissioners come in, there are a number of things they should observe. One of the things they should observe, Mr. Speaker, is not to be a stumbling block to the idea of unionism. The remuneration, this commission was set up to facilitate the purposes of the Constitution. And one of those purposes is recognition of the right to unionism. There has become a trend where collective bargaining agreements are negotiated and then flouted, and when they are flouted, they cite the commission as the entity that has not approved. I urge them to do their work in tandem with the commission. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I urge the commission to be aware that there's a reason why, as opposed to other commissions, they are representatives of other bodies. Among those in the list right now is a representative of the Senate, and we in the National Assembly have sent a representative. There are representations from employers, employees, and other bodies. They are wajumbe like us. They do not go there to represent themselves. They represent the entities that have sent them. And therefore, when we as Parliament send people to the Commission, the people we send must consult with us and must respect our authority. They must not go there and start fighting us. One of the things that should be noted, Mr. Speaker, that the Commission has previously had on is to look at the qualification of being a member of Parliament. Now, we know we've had this debate from the Constitution to legislation as to the minimum standards. But be that as it may, focus must be had on the work that a member of Parliament does, not just the minimum qualifications. This is the house where we have some of the highest qualified Kenyans. And therefore, you cannot sacrifice the work that a member of Parliament does merely because you say the minimum qualification is equivalent to the qualification of any other person of the lowest cadre. That is something they got wrong and they must get right. Mr. Speaker, I want to support them and give a warning bell, not just to the Commission, but to commissions generally. Commissions are supposed to be independent. They are supposed to assist the citizens. There's becoming a trend when commissions are ceding their independence. They are starting not to do the work that they were meant to do. This is becoming a threat to the Constitution and to the commissions themselves. I urge that all our constitutional commissions, and this commission particularly, should do its work without fear or favor, and should do its work with competence, and should do its work for the benefit of Kenyans at large. Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Daud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first, I would like to say Happy New Year to all members together with you. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, regarding the SRC, I remember when I was in the Finance Committee in the 11th Parliament, we approved Sarah Serem as the head of SRC. And when Sarah Serem came to the interview, she sounded so good. But before she left, she had shown her horns. The same with Mengich. And I hope now Semi Chepkonyi, the one who has been nominated for the chair, will not be the same as Sarah Serem or Mengich. Mr. Speaker, whenever there are salaries to be put, they always make sure that they target members of Parliament and not the others. Whereas members of Parliament have fought an election and got to this house. It is not easy to make it to this house, Mr. Speaker, as you know, because you have been in many elections. And it is very, very difficult to get here. So it is only the chosen few who can make it to Parliament. And remuneration for those people should not be a subject, because whenever you hear, it is only the members of Parliament are mentioned, The rest are not mentioned at all. Mr. Speaker, I agree with Honorable Murugara regarding the village elders. Mr. Speaker, it is high time that we remunerate the village elders. We have to look for money from anywhere so that they can be, they do the work, they help the national administration, GAO, so that we can go forward in this, in the country. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to support the new team, but I want the new team as well to be supportive of the Kenyan workers, and the parliamentarians are Kenyan workers as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mama Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwanza nichukue fursa hii kuambia wabunge wote Happy New Year. La pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, niweze kutoa rasmi rambirambi zangu kwa familia yako Mheshimiwa Spika na ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Timothy kwa kumpoteza mama. Mwenyezi Mungu amhifadhi na wema. Mheshimiwa Spika, nachukua fursa hii kuweza kuwapongeza wote ambao wameteuliwa katika commission ya CRC Mheshimiwa Spika, na pia niweze kueleza kama walivyoeleza wenzangu kuwa Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba Bwana Sami Chepkoni akiingia kwenye kiti hichi aweze kuangalia maslahi ya Wakenya wote Mheshimiwa Spika. Na kama walivyosema wenzangu Mheshimiwa Spika, wabunge huwa tunapata mtihani mkubwa sana wakati ambapo tunaongezwa mshahara Mheshimiwa Spika. Ifahamike kuwa mbunge ana kazi kubwa sana, na mimi Mheshimiwa Spika niseme katika wabunge sijui mimi ndio maskini, manake hutoa zote paka nikabaki sina hata sumni. Na kwa sababu Wakenya wana matatizo mengi, Mkenya yeyote akiona mbunge anajua bili hospitali nitaenda kwa mama county, yule ambaye ana msiba nitaenda kwa mama county, yule ambaye ana matatizo yote ile nitaenda kwa mama county. Na sasa kuna pia mapya tena Mheshimiwa Spika, unapata wale watoto wetu ambao wamepata safari ya kwenda nje kutafuta kazi, inatakiwa commissioner. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi wabunge ndio tunafuata, na si pesa kidogo, 200,000, 150,000. Na ndio maana mimi hata nilikuwa nasema hawa ambao wanashughulika na youth fund si waweze kuchukua hawa vijana wawape hizi pesa, wakienda hata waweze kulipa ngana, sisi tuweze kupunguziwa mzigo Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ningependa kuambia hawa makamishna, Wakenya wamehangaika sana wakati wa kupata mishahara yao, waweze kuangalia, manake ndio imeleta sintofahamu. Na yule alotoka Mheshimiwa Spika aliweza kututangaza hadharani wakati ambapo hata jumba hili lilikuwa limeingiliwa na Gen Z, tukachomoka mbio Mheshimiwa Spika. Sasa bado tunafikiria yale machungu, tena unapata unaiko kwenye gazeti kwa umeongezwa mshahara 7,000 Mheshimiwa Spika. Hiyo 7,000 tulitukanwa mpaka mwenzangu akanilazimisha kwenye mkutano mmoja tukatae huo mshahara Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati ambapo iko kwenye sheria, lakini ni kwa sababu maisha yetu ilikuwa hatarini. Na Wakenya wengi walikuwa hawafikirii kuwa huyu ni mbunge, ana hili na lile, anatusaidia hapa na pale. Ile 7,000 si kitu kwenye nyongeza, lakini ilibidi Mheshimiwa Spika tuende mbio kwenye mikutano tukatae, tuseme sisi hatukubali huu mshahara, lakini ndani ya roho zetu tulikuwa tunatamani hata tuongezewe zaidi, manake mambo ni magumu Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nikimalizia nataka kusema hivi, ndani ya bunge hili tuliweza kupitisha hawa wazee wa mitaa ambao wanafanya kazi kubwa sana kule mashinani. Hawa ndio polisi, hawa ndio majaji kule, hawa ndio wanajua nani amepotea, hawa wanajua mtoto wa nani amepotea, hawa wanajua nyumba gani watu wamepigana, twende tukasuluhishe Mheshimiwa Spika. Wazee wa mitaa wanafanya kazi ngumu sana hata kushinda sekta nyingine yoyote Mheshimiwa Spika. Na tulipitisha hapa kuwa waongezewe mshahara, lakini haijafanyika. Namuomba ndugu yetu Sami Chepkoni na timu yake waweze kufikiria wazee wa mitaa, waweze kupewa angaa hata kidogo kama tulivyoona watu wa CHP wakipewa Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi napenda kusema pia kuna wale retired councillors Tulipitisha pia katika bunge hii hapo nyuma kuwa waweze kupata nao kidogo kiinua mgongo, lakini mpaka sasa wale councillors walioretire na kila siku wananipigia simu kulizungumzia hili. Ilipita hapa bungeni lakini bado haijakuwa effected na mpaka sasa hakuna kitu wanapata. Mheshimiwa Spika, mwisho Mheshimiwa Spika, na waomba hawa waweze kushikana na Wakenya wote, wajue daktari, wajue mwalimu, wajue mbunge, wajue mfanyikazi yote yule wa serikali, kwa sababu maisha yamepanda sana. Kila bidhaa zikiongezeka utapata mshahara uko pale pale. Kwa hiyo wakiweza kuongezea mshahara, waangalie kutoka yule civil servant wa kule chini mpaka yule wa juu, wakipata kiinua mgongo kidogo itaweza kuwasaidia Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo mimi nawapongeza, nasema washike kazi, wafanye kazi, waweze kuinua Wakenya wote kwa pamoja bila mapendeleo, na wasipendelee wabunge, manake sisi ndio watu wachapwa fimbo sana. Ikiwa mshahara unaongezeka, watu wengine huwezi kuona umewekwa ama unajadiliwa kwenye magazeti, lakini mshahara wa mbunge tunachapwa fimbo, na hata sijui huwa tumekosea kitu gani. Manake pia utapigwa fimbo na ukirudi nyumbani mtu ana matanga, utasikia mama county tuna msiba hapa. Mtu wengine mpaka birthday wanakuambia tusaidie birthday, umeona? Kwa hiyo tukiongezewa mshahara wa Kenya, mimi nawaomba na sisi mtuelewe, manake huwa tunakuja kwenu na hizi pesa pia tuala na nyinyi wananchi, hatuli peke yetu. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you. Honorable members, I can see the contributions are to Tologas. How much more time do you want to spend on this? Okay, let me give one, then we get the mover to reply. Madenge. Okay, Madenge, and in quick succession, Kaluma, then Karemba, be ready to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to join the rest of my colleagues in supporting this motion. However, Mr. Speaker, as we pass both the commissioners of the SRC and the Public Service Commission, their work is cut out. Mr. Speaker, over the last 2 years, the salaried employees in this country, those with a form of payslip, have borne the larger burden of financing our country. We have had increases in NSSF contributions. We have instituted the Housing Levy Fund. We have an increase in pay as you earn. We have the increase in the percentage paid through the Social Health Insurance Fund. And the net effect of these contributions by the salaried employees has been to erode the spending power of very many households. And the reduced disposable income has affected purchasing power. Even as these commissions keep an eye on the wage bill in this country, they must look at the ability of our people, especially the employed people, to afford a decent standard of living. Honorable Speaker, the other component, as a member of the National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities Committee, a lot of the government departments and parastatals have acute staff shortages, which is compromising service delivery. Honorable Speaker, including such crucial sectors as healthcare. It is therefore important that these two commissions look at the quiet freeze in employment, because even very many more young people have finished their studies and they are looking for opportunities for employment. Honorable Speaker, the last item are the retired public servants. We do not have a commission to take care of them. A lot of them are suffering because their pensions have remained unpaid, and it is important that both these commissions look at the component of the workers who have retired after serving this nation diligently. Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I join my colleagues, members of Parliament, in supporting the motion and therefore signifying my approval for the appointment upon Parliament deciding of these commissioners. But Honorable Speaker, I wanted to say that this commission, despite being a Chapter 15 commission like several others, I don't know what really happens in it. Honorable Speaker, I've been in this house since the 11th Parliament under the new constitution. And we approved commissioners here, led by Madam Sarah Serem. When they sat, they took their business as the business of dealing with this Parliament. After that, Honorable Speaker, we again approved the second SRC commission under this constitution. And Honorable Speaker, you remember the first commission had people like Olo Aringo, who started the Parliamentary Service Commission. Immediately went there, he forgot about the role of Parliamentary Service Commission and was leading SRC in encroaching into the mandate of the Parliamentary Service Commission. Honorable Speaker, the last commission, this one which is going out, which has just gone out, Dalmas Otieno Anyango, and Honorable Mbui and others will confirm to you how eloquent Dalmas used to be seated from where my brother is seated there, about the place of Parliament, how remuneration should be organized. He immediately went into that commission, hitting back at Parliament became his business. I wanted to say, Honorable Speaker, that I don't know whether it is the Salaries and Remuneration Commission which is cast or the people we send there. I wanted to pray, Honorable Speaker, that now that we are sending a new team, may they be alive to the fact that as Parliament, we've done everything to enable them discharge their mandate. Honorable Speaker, the Salaries and Remuneration Act is very detailed coming from this Parliament in terms of their mandates, how they need to do job evaluation, how they need to peg, salaries to the roles of the various bodies, how they need to harmonize salaries so that people performing same roles and functions unequally. But Honorable Speaker, that has not been happening. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to request these commissioners, if ultimately approved, that they avoid the jinx of the past, where the Salaries and Remuneration Commission has been encroaching into the mandate of the other commissions. Honorable Commission, for purposes of protecting Parliament, you have Parliamentary Service Commission. And the mandate of Parliamentary Service Commission to deal with matters, welfare and facilities for Parliament is constitutional. You still get the Salaries and Remuneration Commission issuing gazette notices prescribing, Honorable Speaker, even the amount of tea. If you remember the gazette notice for the 12th Parliament, even the number of cups of tea members of Parliament should be taking in a committee, not knowing some of us don't even take the number of cups of tea. Issues of per diem, issues of allowances. And so you have such issues going to court. And when they go to court, the monies we budget for operations and maintenance of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission is now being used in wars over remuneration between government agencies. I wanted to request the Commission that incident has also affected the judiciary. And I don't know why Salaries and Remuneration Commission would not respect the jurisdictional territory of equal coordinate commissions like JSC. JSC is also dealing with matters facility, matters welfare. But you get Salaries and Remuneration Commission telling judges who want to sit together and conference, most of those judges who sit in a bench, that this is the amount of money you are going to spend. You cannot have per diem if you go conferencing, and that is delaying bench determination. The determination of those cases in which more than one judge have to sit somewhere, together and deal with them. You need a judge. You have a judge from Malindi, a judge from Busia. They are convening in Nairobi. A judge cannot travel because Salaries and Remuneration Commission, not knowing how the judiciary operates, is encroaching the mandate of JSC. I wanted to say, Honorable Speaker, that beyond the law, we have really facilitated this commission. This is a commission, Honorable Speaker, which people thought should be part-time. Because how long should it take a commission to determine and harmonize the pay for various state bodies? In spite of that thinking, as members of Parliament, we said, Honorable Speaker, that this commission shall never be part-time, because the remuneration levels of various, cadres of government and public servants need to be reviewed constantly. I wanted to say, Honorable Speaker, that we are supporting this commission. They'll continue to operate full-time. They will be restricted to their mandate, and we will support them with a budget as required by Article 249 of the Constitution so that they perform their role. But we need to urge the commission, unlike the other members before, to avoid this situation where there is to be litigation, there is to be hitting at Parliament. Honorable Speaker, let me just ask the members, why, for instance, should the salary of a cabinet secretary be beyond the salary of a member of Parliament? It is because when you look at the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, for the judiciary, there is a statement saying that the remuneration of a judge shall not be changed to their detriment. The remuneration of commissioners, Chapter 15 commissioners, cannot be changed to their detriment. We don't have similar provision for Parliament. That should not allow SRC to make the remuneration of members of Parliament or state officers serving in Parliament something as a ping pong. Honorable Speaker, we are being embarrassed. Each time we have election, you return, there is a new remuneration. You sat in the 10th Parliament, Honorable Speaker, and you remember the pay for a member of Parliament was over 1 million, so about 1.2. And Honorable Speaker, it was not subject to any taxation. We come to the 11th Parliament, it is 630. We come, Honorable Speaker, to the 12th Parliament, it was moved, you remember, Honorable Speaker, to 510. And we had to go to court. And when it is pegged at 510, against all public servants and employees of government, it is only Parliament they are telling you will not have annual increment. So we need harmony in spite of the law, because the Salaries and Remuneration Act and the Constitution still says that you will harmonize. I mean, Honorable Speaker, as the head of this institution, you are the third in command of the state. You are a member of Parliament. If you are there, why do we have an evaluation in terms of job evaluation by SRC, putting members of Parliament at cadre 43, so that we are earning even less than PSS? We are earning less than CSS. How then do you oversight them? We sit, we approve them, but they sit there. We want to tell these incoming members that on my part, I will signify my approval and I'm going to vote for approval. But really, let us go back to work. Let them not just sit there. But remember, we put them as full-time so that these things can be harmonized, and we need a peaceful relationship. If there are cases, like the President said, where you have a commission suing the other, they are unnecessary. Let them be withdrawn so that, Honorable Speaker, we can be in the same light and we can be safeguarding the constitutional mandates of the various bodies. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Karemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to thank the honorable members who have contributed to this motion, and starting with the honorable members of the committee who sat through the entire vetting process and saw that indeed the nominees were fit for this exercise. But the message is very clear, Honorable Speaker, to the incoming commissioners, that their job is very clear. Their job is not to target politicians only. There is an enormous responsibility ahead of them, that of checking the wage bill and focusing on the productivity in the entire public service, so that also we can have a country where even those who do not earn as much feel that indeed they are considered. Honorable Speaker, while I agree with the honorable members who share or rather who express how sometimes it is challenging when their constituents have to ask for this and that, from burials to birthdays and to weddings, I wish to state that, Honorable Speaker, I do not think that it is sustainable. Maybe this is a culture that we need to change in this country, because how much money is enough to give out to our constituents? It can never be enough. So if there is something that we need to change, is the culture, so that also empower our people so that they can also get their income and be able to service themselves and even sort their own challenges, instead of thinking that perhaps it is us who have the responsibility of sorting out their problems. So going forward, maybe as leaders in this country, we need to invest more in growing our country, in growing our economy, so that our economy can serve all of us. So, Honorable Speaker, having said all that, I beg to reply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You can stand there. Order, honorable members on their feet. Take your seats. Take your seats. Ferdinand, take the nearest seat. Thank you. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 9. There is quorum in the House. That taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Labor in its report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as chairperson and as members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 26 November 2024, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 230 of the Constitution, Section 711 of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission Act, Cap 412D, and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. 1. Sami Chepkonyi, Chairman. 2. Major General Retired Martin Kizito Ngoi, CBS, member nominated by the Defense Council. 3. Mr. Mohammed Aden Abdi, member nominated by the Senate on behalf of the county governments. 4. Ms. Jane Gataka Njage, member nominated by the Teacher Service Commission. 5. Dr. Gilda Odera, member nominated by an umbrella body representing employees. 6. Dr. Geoffrey Apollo Omondi, member nominated by an umbrella body representing trade unions. And 7. Mr. Leonid Ashindu, member nominated by a joint forum of professional bodies. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.